Fan Central Pitchside is brought to you by Edgechem, in Financial Corporation, Connex Services, Texaco, and Jamaica Stock Exchange.
It's a new week, a new day. It's Monday, November 18, 2024. This is CVM News at noon. I'm Ramon Gordon. A fire destroyed the northern section of the Pernell Childs Arcade in downtown Kingston, leaving 95 shops destroyed and displacing 54 vendors. The fire, which was first reported around 7 a.m., nearly engulfed the structure by the time firefighters arrived on the scene soon after. An initial response unit from Trench Town was quickly reinforced by teams from Rollington Town, Halfway Tree and York Park Police Station, or Fire Station rather. It took 46 firefighters 2 hours to bring the blaze under control. Cooling down operations are ongoing. While preliminary investigations have commenced, the exact cause of the flames remain unknown. Moving on now, a toddler is dead and at least 10 people, including 2 children, were left homeless following a fire in Kingston at the weekend. The deceased has since been identified and a police investigation launched to uncover the circumstances under which the dwelling went up in flames. More from Neika Lewis.
Ahead of this report of another tragic encounter that claimed the life of 1-year-old Saden Ennis, several units responded to the blaze, and it was during cooling down operations that his charred remains were discovered.
Unacceptable for parents, not even for the shortest possible time. One, to leave your children unattended, and 2, to leave a minor to take care of a minor. That is something that is not recommended under no circumstances. We will continue to get the message out here that this is something that parents should desist from doing, because at all times we recognize that the end result is a disaster.
In this disaster, Saden was reportedly left in the care of his 4-year-old sibling while his mother went to a nearby shop. That's when the fire broke out and consumed more than just the building they called home.
They would have received some preliminary information that the 4-year-old was created with a lighter that would have caused the fire. So our investigators are conducting further investigation. So, determine whether or not that is that preliminary information that they received. The conclusion of the investigation.
And although there's not been a dollar figure for the level of the destruction, Gooden says at least 8 adults and 2 children are now homeless.
Significant damage was done. The property was totally destroyed along with its contents. So I can say that much at this point in time without facing a dollar figure.
Yes. Was it a rental property or they owned it?
That information has not been forthcoming enough.
Investigations continue.
Veteran politician and member of Parliament for Manchester North East, Audley Shaw has officially announced his retirement after more than 3 decades of service. Speaking ahead of the JLP's annual conference on November 24, Shaw confirmed he will not seek re-election, marking the end of an era in the parish. Shaw is the longest-serving MP in Manchester, 31 years, surpassing the previous record held by the late Winston Jones of the PNP, who served 25 years in politics. Attention now moves to Shaw's apparent successor, Craig Head Division Councillor Omar Miller, who he endorsed on Sunday. And a 51-year-old farmer from Mountainside, St. Elizabeth, now faces multiple charges after being caught with cocaine. Superintendent Coleridge Minto of the St. Elizabeth Police shared this update.
One Delroy Vassell, 51-year-old farmer of Mountainside, was driving along in a Toyota Axia motor car when he was signaled to stop by the police. He complied, and during a search of the vehicle, a bag containing 3 rectangular parcels with powdery substance was found. Further investigations were done, and this led to the arrest and charge of the accused on the 5th of November for the offenses of possession of cocaine, dealing in cocaine, trafficking cocaine, and taking steps to export cocaine.
Meanwhile, 2 men have been charged with murder, robbery and other offences after a fatal incident in St. Elizabeth last month. Here again is Superintendent Coleridge Minto.
Investigations were carried out and 2 suspects were held in connection with this incident. They are Romanus Mile and Sean Reed. And I can report that both of them were charged this morning with the offenses of murder, conspiracy, robbery with aggravation, using a firearm to commit a felony, possession of prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition. There are also 2 other suspects that we are pursuing as it relates to this investigations, and at an appropriate time, I will name them as persons of interest for the public.
And for the 4th time this month, hotel workers have protested over low wages, this time at the Excellence Oyster Bay Hotel in Trelawney. Last week, similar actions took place at Ibero Star, Secrets and Breathless Resorts in Montego Bay, and last month at Royalton in Negril. Speaking at a Portland constituency conference last evening, Prime Minister Andrew Holness acknowledged the concerns and directed Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett to address the issues.
Minister Bartlett has been tasked to bring the sector together, to have real dialogue about how we're going to ensure that our workers in the tourism industry, that they are happy. There are many issues there. It's not just about pay. Sometimes, in fact most times, it is about the conditions under which they work.
Budget airline Spirit has filed for bankruptcy as it struggles with debt. The company faced major losses of $2.5 billion since 2020, worsened by the collapse of its $3.8 billion merger with JetBlue. Spirit assures customers they can still book flights and use tickets, credits, and loyalty points without disruption. And on sunrise this morning, the Digicel Foundation has launched its Christmas campaign themed Barrel of Tings, offering customers a chance to win one of 30 barrels of goodies being distributed across the island. The foundation will give away 5 barrels per week until December 31.
So we're looking at our Samsung Ultra S24.
We're looking at a brand new iPad.
We're looking at the gift baskets from Massey.
Yes.
We're looking at CPJ gift baskets.
Wow.
A Nintendo Switch.
Brand new.
Our friends at Grace gave us gift baskets as well. We have a case of Red Stripe beer. We have all wholesome items coming from Fontana. So we went with our partners to make sure it's something wholesome for the family.
Absolutely.
It gives them a break and it gives them something that, everybody can partake in.
Wow.
And we made sure, we're trying to make everybody's life easier at the same time.
Right. Well,
And the one thing we forgot is we're also giving out $100,000 cash in the barrel as well.
Head of Business Marketing for Digicel, Kimberly Campbell, shared some entry requirements.
3-day, 7-day, and a 30-day plan. Once you activate it, you're in to win. Plan gifting is also an opportunity for you. And you can also share data. So when you share the data that you have from the plan, you get double the entry. We're not leaving out postpaid because postpaid always say, what are we getting? What are we getting?
All the time.
If you're a postpaid customer, all you need to do is pay your bill in full and on time. And depending on your postpaid plan, gives you an entry. So if you have the intro, 2 entries. If you have the postpaid plus, 16 entries.
wow.
Stick around, more CVM news at noon after this.
expensive toner cartridges. Global Ink is now selling new factory direct generic toners. Remove factory seals, install and print. Engineered to work first time, every time. Certified for use in HB and Brother printers. Worry-free, affordable printing for your peace of mind. Money saved is money earned. We deliver island-wide. 754-7444 or 1-888-NEED-INK. Never run out of toner again. Global Ink.
All I want for Christmas is...
Wait, Chris and Charles has great loans and something extra special this season?
Yes, we're spreading joy to everyone. Starting November 1st, 2024, get a low interest rate Christmas loan and a special reward just for you.
Call 876-926-0609
Or visit our website for details. Better hurry, conditions apply. Stocks are limited. Promotion ends December 23rd, 2024. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Welcome back now to our discussion segment. As we said earlier this morning, a fire engulfed a section of the Pernell Charles Arcade in downtown Kingston. Though unfortunate, it's not uncommon for the commercial space to experience this kind of disaster. Here to discuss the incident is Mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew Swaby. Mayor Swaby, again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's now 12:11 p.m. What update can you provide us on the current status of the Pernell Charles Arcade?
You will understand that it is preliminary. My understanding is that Section A of the Pernell Charles Arcade has been affected. That holds 110 stalls. So far, I'm told 54 vendors have been affected.
Nice. Are there any immediate plans? Forgive me, Mayor, were you saying something?
No. I just indicate to you the number of persons that have been affected.
At 54, are there any short-term plans to probably compensate them for those losses, especially ahead of the Christmas season? This can't be something good for them at all.
No, it can't be something good for them at all, but the reality is this, that the Pernell Charles Arcade, to my understanding, has been assured, but the contents have not been assured. What I'll be doing tomorrow is I'll be meeting with the persons affected to see how best, if we can find an alternative location for them. As to compensation of persons, I cannot give that commitment. That would have to require a discussion with the ministry to see if there's any compassionate thing can be done through the Ministry of Local Government. So I don't want to speak on that because there are times when you make these, you're having a discussion of this out of January, then you hear that you have made a commitment. So that's what I can do. What I can assure persons that we'll be meeting them at 4 o'clock tomorrow evening at the council chamber.
Very well, that's fair. Mayor, can you tell us, this isn't the first time the place has been on fire, once in 2012 I think it was, and before even. What's the fire protocol like at the facility?
The issue, well, I don't want to speak much on that because I haven't had the fire report, and that protocol that you're speaking about certainly would have to do with as it relates to what has caused the fire. There is an establishment there. When I say establishment, I mean that there's a market manager there with collection with 3 persons who do collection. Yet to be briefed by them because they're underground. So I wish that I don't answer this question directly yet because I want to speak from a position of informed position.
Also, I wanted to rubbish some claims that I've seen circulate on social media attributing this recent event to perhaps something that's politically motivated. Is there any evidence to suggest that? I wanted to rubbish those claims if that's what ought to be done.
I have not seen it. I have not heard of that accusation, to be frank with you, and I have not seen anything for me to suggest that. So I prefer to wait on the fire report to indicate to me what's the cause of the fire, and then we can speak publicly on that issue.
Very well, Mayor. One thing that wasn't clear, were any other properties in the vicinity of the market affected, or was it just the property by itself?
Just Section A of the property.
Got it, and that's the northern section of the market, correct?
Sure.
Right. Now, your message to the vendors. We're upon the Yuletide season. Christmas is just a few weeks away. We spoke with the fire authorities earlier. We heard the amount of shops damaged and we heard the amount of vendors displaced. What's your message to them now? You said you can't promise anything immediately. So what can you tell them?
Let us talk tomorrow. That's what I'm saying to them. I've seen them. I've seen the despair on their face. I saw a person crying. Certainly that's broken my heart. But I have to talk with the reality of the situation. So I will invite them to the meeting tomorrow to have that discussion and to see how we can help. What do I mean by help? How can we find an alternative location for them to supply their wares? How can we make representation from them to the Ministry of Labor and Social Security? But one thing I'm happy for, there was no loss of life. And I give God thanks for that.
Definitely something to celebrate. No loss of life. You heard it there. We're talking to Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby about the fire that engulfed sections of the Pernell Childs Arcade this morning. Andrew Swaby, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Now moving on to international news. President Joe Biden's decision to let Ukraine use U.S.-supplied long-range missiles to strike inside Russia has triggered a sharp response from Moscow. Here's more from the BBC.
The Kremlin has reacted to the United States allowing Ukraine to use long-range missiles to strike targets in Russia, accusing President Biden of fueling tensions. It's also warning the move could escalate the conflict. The decision by the outgoing US president is a major policy shift. It means Ukraine can now use army tactical missile systems known as ATACMS to defend its forces in Russia's Kursk region on Ukraine's northeast border. Russian President Vladimir Putin previously warned the West that he would consider such a move to be a major escalation in the conflict. Our North America correspondent David Willis has this report.
The aftermath of the latest missile attack on Ukraine, Russia's largest in months. This, the city of Sumy, near the Russian border, after a missile hit a residential area, killing 10 people and injuring many more. As President Biden arrived in Rio for the G20 summit, reports emerged of new U.S. measures to help Ukraine defend itself. Authorization from the outgoing leader for the use of long-range, American-made guided missiles capable of striking deep into Russian territory. Potentially a significant development in the conflict, and one President Zelensky has been calling for months.
Today, many in the media say that we have received permission to take appropriate actions. But strikes are not made with words. Such things are not announced. The missiles will speak for themselves, definitely.
Stay with us. Sports is next.
To reality with the Overseas Examinations Commission. Take the next step towards success. Register as a private candidate for June 2025 CXC exams. Complete our e-application form via our website, overseasexams.org.jm. Take the completed form to our office in Kingston or Montego Bay. Payments accepted via debit or credit card only. Deadline Friday, November 29, 2024. Call us today at 876-618-3721. Follow us on social media at Overseas Exams, the OEC, Jamaica's Examinations Hub.
Hey girl, of course I'm at Mega Mart. Where else do you expect me to be? Girl, the prices here are ridiculously low. Anyway, look, I know you never asked, but I got me some meats, I got me vegetables, I also got me some juices, and then I stopped by the bakery, then I went by the pharmacy where I did a little banking, and girl, I am just so excited for tonight. Listen, Mega Mart has the best prices by far. Jackie.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not.
We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.